What to do, how to do it. Yeah. Louis, good morning. It's afternoon here, but I'll go with morning. Yeah, I started streaming, but I still have to think about this. It's such a difficult thing. So I am using a texture. I mean, yeah. How does a texture come to be? Texture comes to be by let me use this one. I think this is a confusing name, but what can you do? We only have one texture. Now, what does this object mean? This object means, I think it kind of stands for the declaration that you need in the GLSL shader code. So each shader resource object, specifically in this case the texture, kind of represents a declaration in one or more shaders. And the content of the texture, I mean, most notably, it does not represent the actual memory being used on the GPU for this texture. Of course, I can only use a texture in a shader, for which I need a declaration, if I also allocate memory on the GPU and upload the texture. But I don't think this object represents that memory. Let's have a look at what it does represent. It does represent a memory. It's an image and a sampler. And it definitely represents both, I see. Both of those. Keeps them alive even. It's a unique pointer, kind of like a standard unique pointer. And yeah, the private variables here are representative of of what the class represents, right? The rest is just operators that operate on the state of the class. I have constructors mostly. Instantiate. Update descriptor set. Prepare shader resource declaration. Actual call to uploading it. The string that is being used in the shader, in the non-preprocessed shaders, to represent this texture. And I can get the handles. Now this is an interesting thing. I think an image view handle pretty much represents the allocated memory on the GPU. Doesn't it? So apparently I was wrong. This object really stores everything. But maybe you can have two states. The state before it is available on the GPU and a state when it is available on the GPU. I mean, if it is available, I don't want it to be, let's say, duplicated on the GPU. And so it's kind of a good thing, I guess, that we have just single object representing a single texture. I'm not entirely happy with it though. But okay. Let's say I just create this texture using this constructor here. Then what will this return? I think they're just both empty. So they will be default constructed and yeah. The dereference should return a null handle. So that means it was not uploaded yet. Let's see what else this thing is doing. It's not doing much. It's at the debug name. No, it's being passed to the base. Okay, base is a base class for all the shader resources. Also uniform buffers, for example. Consult. I cannot remember to use consult in my code. Where did you see? Where did you see a consult? Skrido asked in the chat, what does consult do? Okay, well, type something. I'll get into it, but I don't think there's a consult here, so. the base class I cannot remember. I cannot remember I said it. Maybe I said constructor. Okay, let's have a look at the base class. The base class is storing create access mutex. Create access mutex only. Mutex for this thing. It's kind of weird because it is an atomic, but whatever. And we have a set key. Yeah, this is stuff that has to do with generating the declaration. Yeah, this here is just a constructor that I used to construct it initially. And then, well, that is pretty minimal. It just sets a debug name and assigns apparently a set key context to the base class. So there is no texture at all after constructing it like this. And then later I construct a much larger texture, well, much more information being passed to the constructor, which is then used to move assign it to the texture with a longer lifetime. So say the object that is stored in the window class is constructed like this. And these are temporaries that then immediately are moved into the objects that were constructed like that. But even after doing that, we still don't really have a texture. It just fills in a lot of information. The size, the image view kind. It's an invention of myself. It just contains a lot of information that Vulkan wants. In this case, well, a reference to the image kind and this information. So VK is the Vulkan namespace. These are data that Vulkan wants. The format of the image, the type, so usually flat 2D image. Flags that are not used. Stuff like that. Stuff I don't understand, so I use defaults here. And I can get rid of it. Now yeah, you can change them. And the image kind is kind of like the same thing. There's a lot of constants that you can change, or you can just use the defaults that I picked here. I mean, to repeat these same defaults over and over and over, I just put them away here and then I can forget about it until I run into something that makes them wrong. And since the image view kind contains a reference to the image kind. Just the image view kind is enough to have all the information, all the more or less static information that does not change related to an image. The memory create info. Okay, the memory create info is a type def, like this, which depends on the base class that you're using, and then the base class sets it to also some default that is good for that type. For example, buffer memory create info details uses these things for users properties empty. VMA memory usage is auto, and we have others of them. Maybe we can find the others as an example. Here's the image one. Looks slightly different. And the staging buffer is yet again different defaults. Kind of a default groups, lots of those vulkan variables that usually go together, and then I give it a more clear name. This is for a staging buffer. You want to use this totally non-understandable stuff. I got it from some kind of web page, that's what you have to use when you want to do this or that with your memory. Now we also have to look at the base class memory image to understand what this texture is doing. And that will be this one. Let's go to the declaration. The image is also nothing, just another handle, a pointer to our logical device. And this is the handle for the memory allocation. So as soon as we have the handle, then we should have a GPU side allocated memory, I think. And then we have a handle to that memory. I mean, an image uses memory on its GPU, but it doesn't really matter. Memory is just memory, so we need both, apparently. Okay, so yeah, this is the most important thing, I think, in terms of memory usage on the GPU. Scripto says, so it's just information texture. Well, if you meant object, so texture, the capital T, is a class. And it contains, after construction, all the information that is needed to construct it and create it and eventually use it. But certain things have to be done before you can actually show the texture on the screen. Most importantly, you have to allocate memory on the GPU and upload the data from the CPU to the GPU. And what I'm working on now, as you can read in this description of this stream, is the question, how can I free that again? If a texture is shortly in view and then afterwards it's just not used anymore, I want to free the GPU memory. Otherwise I would run out of memory on my video card. And yeah, it seems that at the moment you want to freeze stuff, I have to get rid of this memory here. Well, I'm seeing here a destroy. Calling destroy might be a very good chance of getting that to released. What? Oh, inline destroy. It's in the header. So if the handle exists, call destroy image. And then the handle is set to VK null handle. That's nice. And afterwards it doesn't not exist anymore. And then destroy image calls destroy image on the VH allocator object. So we have a memory allocator. Which has a destroy image. Yeah, we have a destroy buffer. Destroy image. Apparently there's a special VMA destroy image. VMA stands for Vulkan Memory Allocator. It's a library written by, I forgot, some company. Which yeah, takes care, I should say, wraps the Vulkan memory allocation in a smart way. Smarter than just the raw Vulkan calls that you have. So clearly this frees the image and the memory allocation. And well, in the right way, because I'm using VMA to allocate the memory, so I also must use it to get rid of it. Okay, so we have a destroy in this base class. I'm going to have a look again at this base. I don't think we need to destroy anything of the base class here. The base class called base. Set key is well, in the namespace descriptor, so you should read it as the descriptor set key. Horrible, but true. Is a unique ID that just is unique for the given object. So this is a one-time initialization. We should not change it anymore. Also not when it is destructed. Because I think this is already initialized even with the first constructor. That's probably a good I can't think of the word. Leidraad. I don't know what that is in English. A guide. Everything that has to be, everything that is initialized after assignment, immediately after assigning this, even does not need destruction, because at that moment we did not even upload anything to the GPU yet. Now the base class is constructed with a descriptor set key context instance, which means this one, which sets the descriptor set key. I'm wondering what happens if I make it const. I mean, to make very clear that I'm not going to change that afterwards, ever. Battle queue, hello. Yeah, that worked. So it should not be changed, so making it const is possible. Change your name. Miss Cola 8. No, I don't know. How do I call you? Cola? It's called, and then 8 late? No. Everyone has such unpronounceable names. Well, most people anyway, in the chat on YouTube. Okay, texture, yeah. These two things here. I always like to first look at the things that are probably not it. Hard to pronounce, yeah. Unless I had it right by saying Miss Cola 8. But I would use a capital K if that was right. Mr. Scola. Scolate. I don't know, man. What is this? A member. Texture shader resource member. Okay, definitely not related to memory used on the GPU. It's also related to the definitely going to get Alzheimer. Forget that. The declaration, right? There we go. Of the GLSL declaration, which doesn't change. Okay, what is this? they do represent something. Okay, so I have a memory handle and in the image, and then we have an image view, and we have a sampler. Total 3 handles. I would imagine that also the image view is using GPU memory and the sampler as well. So just calling destroy on image does not seem to be enough. Plus, what happens if you destroy that without destroying the image view? Don't you wish you could Google? Yeah, don't you wish you could Google something like should I free or destroy the image view and the image at the same time? And if so, in which order? These are apparently already created here upon construction of the pre-upload. This is kind of amazing me, right? I mean, the MVH image is the handle of the image, which is a member of the base class, memory image. Now we start with calling the constructor of the base class, memory image, here. And it should call that function first. And then immediately after this constructor of the base class finishes, we continue with initializing a memory image view, which then uses that handle. I can hardly believe that there is any communication with the GPU going on here then. It should just create a handle, and then bang, we have a handle, and that is being passed here. The sampler is just already created, apparently. Move sampler, yeah. Well, I guess that means that if I destroy stuff, I should start with destroying the sampler and then the image view handle and then the image itself in that reverse order. I'm kind of busy now, Roshan, with the Vulkan engine. I'm not taking on any new projects anymore in the rest of my life, I think. This is the last project. Do we have a destructor? Do not have a destructor. What is instantiate doing? Right. Basically nothing. Well, better not be called anywhere, because what the hell is this? Oh, it is a virtual function. Did I miss that? Yeah. Override. So it's not doing anything, but it's defined by the base class. Which is not explaining at all what it's doing. Create the shader resource, if not already created, e.g. texture. Ah, okay. I see. So yeah, in the case of a texture that's literally not doing anything. And then the call to set created is apparently related to having done the instantiate. So in the case of a texture, also this created does not have to be reset. And that doesn't, and this is unimportant, and this is set layout bindings to handles, okay. Yeah. Well, I think I'm slowly forming a picture here that getting rid of my texture means closing all the handles, and maybe for the image it would just call destroy. It does a little bit more. Also getting rid of the memory then. And I do have a destructor, but that already does everything. The destructor should begin with destructing mSampler, which then deletes it because it's a unique pointer. And because it's a unique sampler, it's specific for sampler, it's just going to do the right thing. Maybe you can even find that back. Unique sample, it's a unique handle using sampler. It uses a deleter. It's a deleter of a unique handle traits with that type, which is defined here. We're talking about sampler, unique sampler, yeah. Which is an object destroy. Okay, object destroy. Yeah, not clear. But whatever it does is apparently correct. I mean, it should be. So this gets destroyed, this gets destroyed, and then by calling the destructor of image, yeah, destructor of image calls destroy. The destroyer that I wanted to call. Okay, so in order to really get rid of the GPU side of this thing without destroying the texture, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let's add a destroy to this object. I still have a problem with this though. Upload is not really the opposite then of this function. Okay, let me first write it. So we have a void destroy, let's say. Nah, it's a bit too much maybe. Let's call it exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah, something like reset, if it has that, you know. Probably doesn't. Just looked at it. How can I reset this unique handle? Calling destroy apparently. But it does have a reset here. If you assign it, reset other release. Difficult things. I think that calling reset works. Jesus. I wonder what this is doing here. This destroy. Oh, it is from the trades. Yeah, okay. Let's just use release then. No, reset. So that works. And then the other one, same thing. And then we call destroy on the image. Twiz says it's not the same C++ you learn in university. Well, I don't know what you learn in university. I'm using a lot of my own code, of course, and vulkan, but that's mostly just the types and stuff. For the rest, it's really just C++. So if you can be more specific, what exactly do you see that you think is not C++, or at least not what you learn in the university? Or isn't it about the syntax? Okay, let's see. After releasing the GPU resources, because we are not using this texture anymore, we're not showing it on the screen, there might come a moment that I want to show it again. Then what do I have to do to get it on the screen again? I don't think upload is going to be the right thing here. I'm pretty sure it isn't. I guess it would work to assign a new texture constructed from this constructor and then call upload. But a lot of that information was already passed before. I would rather not do that. I not want to do that at all. Also a bit confused about this sampler. Do I need a separate sampler for every image? Can't I reuse samplers? What underscores asks, what developer level do you have? The highest, I think. I don't know, man. What is a developer level? I've been developing my whole life. See, all this information is needed again, really. Just destroyed the memory, so I'm gonna need memory create info again. Sample was destroyed. These things are still the same. I'm going to need a new sampler and the memory create info. Well, these two maybe only. Then we can do this again. And then this again and this. Yep. So these two. Yeah, the senior dude. If I can use the same sampler for all the textures, then there's of course no reason to destroy the sampler. I could just keep the handle and then reuse the same sampler as soon as I need this texture again. But I have no idea if that is possible. I don't think Google knows it either. But let's try it. That's not really the topic that I meant. This is just dark, and on top of that I'm having the dark street. That doesn't change much anymore. Um, Using the same sample and vertex of fragment shaders causes to have no resource set for the sampler and the fragment shader. It's just not what I want to know. Oh, there is something like called an immutable sampler. Immutable. Maybe that's necessary. This is what I'm using. Well, only because, some tutorial used it. Scripted type that represents an image view and supports unfiltered load stores an atomics initiator. Not using that yet. The scripted type that represents an image view and supports unfiltered read-only access initiator. Only at the fragment's location in the view. Yeah, I'm old. I like this post. Let me find a link to it. Sure. Copy link. Yeah. But it's not answering my question. I could ask it on Discord, or maybe I should just write a test application to test this stuff. Bit hesitant because things go so slow. Someone added a comment. Yeah, well, that's too old. descriptors. Texture. Let's write a test program. Let's think of a test program. Let's make a new test program. Really? It's probably not a good idea to make already new test programs because it's going to involve a lot of code duplication. Okay, so what are we going to test? Textures. Now my latest test was this. And let's copy a few things like the CMake text. And well, maybe this, probably the containing the main. Yeah, a logical device, what is that? Do you also have a logical device.h here? Yep, so I'll probably need that as well then. And we need something like this, I think. A rectangle. I need simply a rectangle or a square. Let's call it a square. Textures. Where's my textures? I'm not going to type it. Ah, there it is. Slash, and I'm going to call this square. Yeah, also have a CXX. Okay, probably going to need that as well then. Yeah, I need a simple thing that just opens these textures and shows them. It's a pretty big texture. It's a not so big texture. I think I want 4 textures. Well, thousand times something. Why not? That's big. So much for looking for 1024 times 1024. I'm just going to go to... Since when can you no longer filter? Tools, size. Any size? Nah, you cannot even specify the size. You can choose between GIF or nothing else. Ridiculous. What's special about GIF? Where's my PNG? Okay, I'm getting tired here. I just want 4 arbitrary 1024 by 1024 textures. How hard can that be? Well, not this arbitrary. A little bit in it. Now here. 1024 times 1024. So I click on it and I got something larger than my monitor. There's a lot of textures out there. I can't choose. Okay, so can someone tell me... well, you cannot paste links in the chat. YouTube doesn't allow it. It's also ridiculous. You cannot just say, I want PNGs of 1000 by 1000. Collections. Train wallpaper. rubriek. I don't know, man. That seems, I mean, and at this speed, it's going to be faster to just run them through through GIMP or something. There we are. Finally, we got something. Transparent. Well, that's just downloading over someone's modem. That's a whole megabyte. It takes a while. Finally. So I want to go to Home, Projects, got one. Now what? Pictures. Why is suddenly everything has no background? I don't want anything to do with no background. What size is it? I cannot find images online. What is this ridiculousness? Even all the examples are white on the background. I want to show a picture. Nope, that didn't help. Okay, wall textures. Okay, literally walls. It's so larger than I want, and it is a web dot something. Fuck this. Nothing works. Each of these textures. Okay. What is this? Can I just click on this? Yeah, one more then. Wow, totally have real textures. A lot of them, I mean. PNG, everything. Okay, well, horrible. Data. Okay. Yeah, it is only looking in textures, so probably I should move those temple things down, or they won't be copied. Well, I'm just gonna leave it as much equal as it is. Um, Yeah. The more work is the square and the window, especially this one, I think. What shall I do first? I think I'm going to do square first. Sample parameter.h. You're going to be kidding me. Does that still exist? Does that still exist? Okay, well, we don't need it here. Thank God we don't need it here. Heavy rectangle is going to be renamed to square. Yeah, shall I make shall I make it just the way it looks here? So 4x4 squares. I could just make 2 triangles, that should work. But in case, let's make a lot of triangles, but not as much as this one. And so just 32 triangles, I think, would be nice. Each batch exists of 2 triangles that form a square with coordinates pulsing. Okay, that's then not true. What is this? Both run from minus size to plus size in ... steps. Minus size to plus size. So in 4 steps then. I guess there's nothing else to change. I mean, a square is a square. Not sure what the 0.12 is doing here though. It's a scaling factor, I guess. What the hell is this size? Oh, it's that minus size to plus size. Yeah, let's run it from minus a half to plus a half, because I think I have the feeling that's what I'm going to need. No, even less. Well, let's do a quarter. texture coordinates run from 0 till batch size. The rest should still be the same. I'm making a class that will tell my engine to draw a square with a texture on it. I already had a class like that. That was just existing many triangles, and I reduced it to just 32 triangles. For the rest, it's I don't think any change needs to be made. Yeah, it's also okay. Then we edited everything except window. That's definitely the largest file. Window is 22 kilobytes. But hey, then we wrote a complete vulkan application using my engine. Let's call this just texture uploaded and use it the same signal for all the 4 textures. Render pass, I mean the whole render graph does not need changing. Oh, my visitor's here. I have to stop the stream, guys. Yeah, sorry.